Welcome. Welcome out there in wonderful land. Welcome to the Law, Your Money and You. I'm Roberta Sapphire, an attorney in Sharon, Massachusetts.
Hi, I'm Camille Barron, and I'm a financial organizer and healthcare advisor, also in Massachusetts. And Roberta, we're having a young lady on who's been with us before, I think, and yes, at least once before. And she has become quite an accomplished young lady. And one of the things we want to talk about is her entrepreneurial skills because she is the epitome of entrepreneurship.
Yes, at a very young age, too. I have to say, she graduated with a degree from engineering from University of Southern Cal. Did I say it right? But she is not going into engineering. She chose, however, to go into, like you say, entrepreneurship. And I'm going to let her go into it, and we'll just question her to death because there's so much to know about her. She's so much Miss Personality, and I can't say I'm prejudiced because she is my granddaughter. She's my oldest granddaughter, and she's a wonderful, like you say, she's something to really be proud of. Kailey, tell us a little bit about yourself. Start with the Kailey's Queens and then work up to what you're doing now at a ripe old age of 25. Go for it.
Okay, well, first, thank you. Thanks for having me here. Okay, so when I had a year left of college, my degree was engineering, and I already knew it wasn't really what I wanted to go into. Girl power and girl empowerment has always been my thing. And so I had an idea because I was in a youth group growing up that really impacted my life. And so I had an idea to make a youth group for teen girls because Girl Scouts is more for elementary kids. And so there's the hardest age of middle school where girls have nothing to do, and it's when they need connection the most. And so I decided I wanted to start a youth group for middle school girls. And so I started hosting events in Los Angeles. And then COVID happened and we started doing online events. And to be honest, I really struggled with making it a profitable business. It was an amazing business, but connecting the girls during COVID, it was great. But when COVID ended, figuring out how to balance, online activities when the girls were kind of burnt out with online. So anyways, I kept Kansas Queens running, but I feel like God opened another door for me because then I started posting empowering videos on TikTok, and same thing, girl power. That's what I've always been doing. And my social media started blowing up, and then I helped my dad blow his up, and my dad's a lawyer. And so then I started helping friends, and I felt like I had a really clear strategy to break through the social media algorithm. And so now I have my own social media, and I also have a social media agency where I help other people. For me, I particularly help people who are the face of their businesses. So not a toothpaste brand, but a dentist I would help. And I help them create an audience and get leads and sales through social media.
That's fascinating.
Interesting.
Fascinating.
Now, tell us a little bit more about the how you actually got into this and what are the mechanisms that you were using to succeed like this?
Right. So I actually was asked to host a TikTok event. I had no idea what TikTok was at the time. It was in 2021 and I had no idea what it was, but I was the host interviewing all the panelists. And so for 2 days,
Where was this? Was that
Dallas,
California?
Texas.
Huh?
No, this was in Dallas.
Oh, in Texas. So you
Yeah.
started out from Phoenix, went to California, and then now you're living it up in Texas.
Well, actually, I had just flown to Texas for that event, but
Oh,
I was in Austin at a different time. But that event, I was just there for in Dallas for the event and never lived there. But I was everywhere though. I did hop around the world, but for this particular case, I was just there for the event. But so I was interviewing all these panelists of these kids and adults who made their living from TikTok. And after spending hours getting to talk to all these people, I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. And so I had spent months, I was convinced, I was like, social media is everything after realizing the power it had by talking to all these people who had millions of followers. And after I was like, I'm going to do this. And so I spent months just posting and posting, and nothing was working. And just post and post and post. I didn't know what the answer was. I was researching and trying to figure it out. And then in 1 week, I went from 1,000 followers to 22,000. And then I was like, let me start a new account. And then I started a new account from 0, and I had 400,000 followers in 2 months. So, and then in terms of the mechanisms, I think
Before you, excuse
Yeah.
me if I can,
Yeah.
before you go into the mechanisms, what was it that allowed you to go from 0 to 400,000? You must have done something to make that happen.
Right. So, well, I would say that is, if I can intertwine that with the mechanisms.
All right.
So like, I think what everyone needs to understand is that like people connect with people. So, and people connect with other stories. And so I think a lot of brands, when they struggle to grow on social media, it's because they're not connecting with someone. They're trying to promote something. Like ads are so like out, like people want real connection online. And that's why, you take Kylie Jenner, who's built a brand that's worth as much as L'Oreal and, 1/10 of the time, because people feel like they know Kylie Jenner. And essentially, it's about making a brand that adds value to people. So that can be through different ways. It can be through education or entertainment or value. But it's also about like niching down and finding your audience. So for me, I had seen like a video pick up, and instead of just like throwing tomatoes at a wall, I would take a video that did well and try to create a similar version of that video instead of, once I saw something work, I would leverage that. And that's how I got from 1,000 to 20,000 in a week. And then I made the new account that got from 0 to 400,000 is by, well, I would say that, I think I have to sneeze. 1 second.
Right.
I guess I don't. It went away. It got scared. She's shy. Anyways, but my 0 to 400,000 one, I do think that part of it is timing, because you, even on the video or the 1,000, 22,000, I had posted the same video weeks before and it didn't go viral. It was a video of my dad actually dancing. And I had posted it weeks before and it didn't move. It didn't do anything. And then the same video I posted weeks later when I was like in the algorithm, I had momentum behind me and it got millions of views. And so I think people need to understand that it's not about your content. It's also about like if you're in the algorithm. And some of the things I do is when I see one, I always recommend my clients to like find a similar competitor. Like, who do you want to be like? And like look at the hashtags that they're using. And like pretty much you think about like all these different lanes in the world. Like there's people who love poker, there's people who love golfing, there's people who love swimming and exercise, there's people who like to talk about relationships. And so you want to take whatever your niche is and get it in front of the right people. And so there's different ways to kind of tell TikTok, which it's much easier to tell TikTok than like Facebook and Instagram, but TikTok has a really great algorithm. So there's ways to like tell TikTok, hey, send my videos to where my people are. And yeah, I don't know if that.
What about the talk about that the government was trying to get rid of TikTok? Do you think that'll ever happen? It was too many TikTok people.
I don't know. I really stay removed from all that. I'm like, if it happens, whatever. There's Instagram and YouTube, but I have no clue. I didn't keep up with it because I didn't really care.
Well, are you still doing TikTok or
Yeah.
And do you do Instagram too? I hear that's popular.
Yeah, I do both. So I get so I also make like some income from brand deals, and it's funny.
What is that? Tell our viewers.
For example, a swimsuit company paid me and like this wellness book, they just paid me to share their product to my audience, and they paid me to use my platform to share their product. So people
Oh,
used to, yeah. So instead of paying for Facebook ads where it's going to a bunch of strangers, they're getting the same reach, but their audience is hearing it from someone they trust and someone they have a relationship with. So that's like what influencer marketing is called. But anyways, I do have Instagram as well. It's harder to grow on Instagram. I still have grown a lot on Instagram, but yeah.
and where are you now? We didn't get to where are you situated now? You left LA where your school was. You did spend some time in San Diego and in Phoenix and Texas also. I mean, you've really traveled. There's no flies on you, but tell them about New York, which is
Yeah.
really so exciting.
Yeah, so I'm in New York City and I just love it. There's so many opportunities. Like any night or day I want to do something, I can just Google like events near me or things to do, and there's always something. And I actually am going to my first movie premiere tonight. I've never been invited to a movie premiere, but this is like the things that when you build an audience, it's like the most random opportunities come up. And I think since moving to New York, I've had even more of those opportunities because, you know, there's a lot of, I actually, if you've heard of the book, It's Me, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margot.
I've heard of it. Yes, I haven't read it.
Yeah.
So they created a movie, and one of the opportunities I had was to like go on the set of this tour bus of, you know, the movie tour bus and film something to spread awareness to my audience. So I have my own social media channel where I do opportunities like that, and like the movie premiere tonight. And but then I have other things that are then I have my social media agency where I help other people build their own social media. But everything, there's so much in New York, especially me wanting to continue building my own personal brand. There's a lot of opportunities out here.
Kailey, you mentioned a while ago you were talking about being in the algorithm. Can you explain what that means?
Yeah, so essentially, like I can give you an example from one of my clients. They had posted the same video on a different account. So two different accounts, the same exact video. One video got 200 views and one got 40,000 views. And so a lot of times it's not as much about content as about getting into the algorithm. And there's different tactics that you can do to get into the algorithm. Like for example, when TikTok has this feature called duetting.
What
And
is
when
that called?
duetting, like
Oh,
duet,
duet. Yeah.
yeah. And essentially, let's say Camille has a channel all about empowering girls, and I want my page to be about that. I can take her video and put my face next to it. So it's kind of like a video with two sides to it. And I can react to her video or like thumbs up or whatever. I can, and so that's kind of telling the algorithm, oh, I want my audience to be like her audience. I like her audience. So there's different ways to bring in a, you know, the audience that you want. So you're inside the algorithm rather than if I were to just start throwing tomatoes at a wall and posting, TikTok might not know that I want to empower girls. They might think I'm a swimmer, I'm a lawyer. And by using tactics like duetting, that's just one example, the algorithm can send you to the right places, and then they see, oh, these people actually love this video. Because if you sent my content to men, because I'm all about empowering girls, my audience on TikTok is 95% female, 95%. So the algorithm is very good when it knows where to go, and it's just making sure that you are using tools so they have clarity.
So you're really leveraging what has worked for someone else when you do that.
A lot, that's one of the big things that I always stand by is seeing where you want to be. I mean, just like in life and business, when you want to build a business, look at who succeeded like you. And I think it's the same with TikTok. It's like, look at what's working.
Do you concentrate on the United States? Is this territorial, or can you reach girls wherever they might be? Like, where are some of your clientele from?
Right. So my audience is 70% United States, which is actually good for me because a lot of brands, in the US, they want creators who have a bigger majority, just like having a really big female audience is powerful. Because let's say you're Dove, Dove is all about supporting women. They would rather work with a creator. That's what they would call me as an influencer or someone with a following. They would rather work with a creator who has 97% female than 50% female because they want to reach females. And so anyways, my audience is mostly the US, but all over the world. I mean,
Isn't that
probably,
exciting?
yeah, I'm sure there's someone in every country that TikTok's used just based on the amount of followers I have.
And you have a magnificent apartment in New York with a beautiful view and decorated color. You got to send us some pictures so unless you can get them on now. But what's also amazing is you always were the one with the personality in whatever you did, and whatever, whether it was dancing or school or anything, you always came out number one on personality. And recently you told us that you were going to try out a work, and probably you will succeed because anything you do, you succeed at. Um, Singing lessons. Tell us about singing lessons, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there of different ages that would like to, well, I'm doing good here. I always wanted to do that. What do you say to them?
Right. So just a little backstory. So I had always known that my end goal is to be on a stage empowering girls. And I kind of just always assumed, I want to be Tony Robbins for teen girls, just speaking on stage empowering girls. Because I used to tell people I can't sing. So guess we're doing it Tony Robbins style. But I saw this picture. It was on April 14th or April 17th, 2 weeks ago. April 17th, I think. Not that the date matters, but I saw a picture of a singer at a huge festival. And it was a girl who actually kind of looked like me, this short girl with brunette hair. And she was on stage with this massive audience. And I'm looking at this picture, and it was like my whole world stopped. I was like, I need this. I was like, I literally need this. And I immediately Googled, no, I went on TikTok. TikTok's a great search engine. I went on TikTok and I typed in, is singing genetic? And all these videos came up saying anyone can learn how to sing, da 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 da. And I booked my first singing lesson. The next day I had my first singing lesson. The day after that I had my second. And then 3 days later I went to the studio for the first time. And mind you, I still can't sing. I have singing lessons today. I had them again yesterday. But I think, for example, I was getting really into fashion. And I was like, ooh, imagine being able to make my own clothing. That would be so cool. So the next day I booked a sewing lesson, and I was thinking this is way too much work, and I'm definitely never doing this because I don't care enough to learn how to sew. This is way too much work. But with singing, after my first lesson and my second, it was something inside me that was like, this is what I'm going to do and I'm going to make it happen. And I've been sharing my rough progress because I can't sing yet, but I've been sharing the journey on social media. And it's funny because someone commented, you are inspiring me to start getting back into singing. And it's funny because that wasn't my intention. It was just to show my journey. But I do think that everyone should try whatever they want. Who cares?
Right.
And
You're an inspiration. You know something? You come from a family with eight kids in the family, but they're getting to be not kids anymore. But they're all talented. I used to tell your mother and father that they're all number one in their category, and each one is a different category. But I remember one of your sisters asked me to show her how to thread a needle, and after that 5 minutes later, she was designing and sewing things. So And you were always, and we missed this out, when you were little, you were always painting, very creative. Camille and I sponsor books. Police officers are our friends, and it's each picture in there is unique, and it's you have created a lot of those pictures. You just sit. You got a talent of just drawing, and you dance and you make up. I remember when you were in high school, you were making money by charging kids to do their makeup. So you were creative then too. But when you say you take singing lessons, because we do that too. We wanted to do that too. In fact, your grandfather, who we call Pipa, he has written several songs which are just magnificent. But what I want to know is what, and see, I go from one thing to the other and then I forget. But you into what are the kind of singing lessons do you have? Because now there's rap, there's ballads, there's just they call it solfege they used to do. What kind of singing are they doing?
I'm just trying to do, I just want to be a pop star. So
Pop? Are they teaching you techniques, or are they, because it's different? Is this like in Boston where we are, we have the school, different schools of music and all that, and you can just go class after class, and they want you to learn the basics though of it's called solfege, and then they want you to do this before you even sing. So what are they doing with you? Give us an example.
So we start with warm-ups, and those are always different. And if I try to sing on the spot right now, it might be rough. But something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not gonna can't really commit right now because I'm not there yet. And it's funny, I get so frustrated with myself, like anything new you try to learn. I'm like, why are you nervous? Toughen up. But I still get
nervous means you care, so that's good.
Yeah. And it means I'm not used to singing. So you start with a warm up and then a few warm ups, and we have a song. I have 2 songs, one's faster pace, one's slower pace. So me and my coach just decide which one I'm going to do. We do about 4 lessons a week.
Is it a popular song that they got you into?
I got to choose the songs, and neither I chose were popular.
Like, what is one? I'm just curious.
Well, you probably don't know them, but Little Mix. It's a girl
Oh, you're
pop.
right. I don't know it. I know that the songs today I don't know at all. Most of them I never heard of. But I don't know if you know, but years ago there was a man. He was I don't know if he was a comedian, but he was a famous singer. I mean, he wasn't famous for a singer, but he would sing and he would do it with a voice, and it was Jimmy Durante. Camille, you remember Jimmy
Yes.
Durante? And he would just talk it. In other words, it was his personality. I would say he didn't have a voice. You do it with your personality. Louis Armstrong, have you heard of him, Camille? I mean,
Oh, yes, of course.
yeah, how about you, Kailey? Have you heard of Louis Armstrong? Ask your voice teacher about Louis Armstrong. It did with the from New Orleans, this and that. We're getting near the end. This is really exciting.
I just want to read something to you.
Okay.
I have this book of daily words of wisdom or meditations. And, sometimes when we're embarking on something new, we might feel nervous and so forth. I just happened to read this morning of all days by William Shakespeare, as a matter of fact.
Oh, I've heard of him.
And it says, our doubts are traitors and make us lose the good we often might win by fearing to attempt. So in other words, if you have doubts, you're definitely going to lose if you don't act on something you believe in. But if you allow them to just be there and you act anyway, their chances of succeeding are very good. And that's what I see in you, Kailey.
Yeah, that's what I try to get it to do too, the If by Rudyard Kipling. And one of his things is if you can keep your head when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. And it tells you to, and she has it, she has that. And I think we have to wind up now,
All righty. Well, we're so pleased
which
to
is
have
your
you on
job.
here today. We we always learn something from you, even though you're much younger than we are, Kailey. And you're truly inspiring, and I know that you're inspiring to girls that you're trying to reach, because it's so important for girls to have confidence when they may not otherwise have it. Mental health is such a problem these days with teenagers. So you're doing all the right things for the right reasons. And
She's
I think our,
inspiring for any age. And we
yes,
thank you. We thank you so much, you gorgeous creature.
and to our viewers, thank you for watching. If you've been as moved as we have been and you'd like to know more about Kailey, send us an email and we'll be happy to get you in touch with her. Thank you so much for watching. And again, as we always say, please let us hear from you if you have any questions or ideas for future shows, because remember, this is your show. The law and
The
money
money
and
and
you.
you.